there's really no reason for women to have that sexual jealousy that men have, because they're not wired the same way we are, and they don't suffer the same consequences. If we're talking about biology, a woman's nature is to nurture. It's not to be
See, I
jealous.
believe in evolution. I'm a heavy believer in evolution. And so because of that, I can't go with that premise.
So you niggas hear about Sean O'Malley? Last week he won, I believe it was like the lightweight title in the UFC.
Hmm.
Shit been going around of him talking about, because he's well off and he takes care of everything. Basically, the nigga said he can cheat on his wife and all of that shit. But I'm gonna play it real fast, and then we'll come back and react to it.
King, I pay for everything. I treat Danny like a queen. If I get a little puss on the side, what does that have to do with anything? I got testosterone running through my veins. That's fucking simple. I wouldn't say that if I was in the opposite position. If I wasn't paying for everything, if I wasn't successful in any sort of way, and I was just like fucking maybe an average Joe, I probably wouldn't. It probably wouldn't be fair. But
All right, so Nick said he pays for everything. He treats her like a queen, and what's wrong with getting a little piece of strange every now and then? What do y'all think about that?
Yeah, he makes a hell of a
If
point. Um, I think one of the things we've always talked about is expectations that are set with you and your significant other. Um, if you've set that expectation early on in the relationship, and your husband or wife, girlfriend or boyfriend is cool with the arrangement, there's nothing wrong with it. That's what's set up. Um, for her, she's loving the ability to have probably zero responsibility. I'm sure she's got a few things that she has to do around the house and things like that, but I don't think I didn't look it up, but I'm guessing they probably don't have kids, and there's not like a high level of getting up and doing a whole lot of stuff every day, and she's able to do as she pleases throughout the day because she doesn't have to get up and go to work and take care of anything from a financial perspective. So yeah, I mean she's living a pretty good life there, but it's an odd setup. It's an odd setup, but if you love it, if you like it, I love it.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think there, Miles?
I mean, excuse me. One thing that caught my eye was that online, this is being framed as him cheating. I pay for everything, so I get to cheat. He never used the word cheating, though. That's what everybody else said. Everybody else said he's cheating. It's only cheating if it goes against the rules that were set up. If their rules don't say that I can only put my penis here, it's not cheating. You don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. Kay said if y'all set these rules up and negotiated that at the beginning, that's what you can get to do. See, I'll take it further than that. You can renegotiate the contract. You can be in the contract, decide that I've outperformed it, and I'm coming back to the negotiating table. These are my new terms. And she can a-okay it, or she can get ghost. They seem to be doing fine. Just for the record, I don't think that he says he treats her like a queen. Well, if he's fucking a bunch of other chicks, then that's accurate. Because the king ain't never only fucked his wife. Every king you go back and look at in history had concubines, had harems, had slaves. I mean, if we want to go that far, so yeah, women say I want to be treated like a queen. There
Yeah.
you go. You the king's
Yeah.
name.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I'm not with all the lying. If you lying about the pussy you getting and stuff like that on the side, I don't think that's the right thing to do. But if you upfront with it and you tell her like, hey, this is what it is, I don't have a problem with it. I really don't have a problem with it. Hey, if they like it, like Kay said, if they like it, I love it. You know what I'm saying? Like, But I think for me, there's an even deeper point that that this conversation leads to, and it kind of brings me back to something you said, Miles. Shit, I don't know, maybe like a year ago, we was talking about women today, and you said women don't like what they are, and this right here reminds me of that. Right, the reason I say that is because when I think about infidelity or a man having sex with other women, there's no reason, like biologically, that women should be possessive of men and having sex with other women. Like biologically, why men are very possessive of women is because if she gets pregnant and there's multiple men there, we don't know who the dad is. But that can't be said for the women, because
Mm,
if she gets pregnant, we all know who the mom is. Like, there's no doubt about that.
but turn
There's
that
never
around.
a doubt. Yeah, there's never a doubt
Flip
about who
that.
the mom is. But if you look at but the reason why we are very possessive of our women is because if there's infidelity, we don't know if we're the dad or not. But she never ever has to question who the mom is. We always know. And so
See,
there's really, from a biological standpoint, there's really no reason why a woman should care about her man sleeping with other women.
I'll
Like,
push back on that. I'll
go
push
ahead,
back on that a little
give it
bit
to me.
biologically. Now,
Biologically.
yeah, we don't have to question paternity when your girl gets pregnant, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if so let's say she's pregnant, we know who the father is. It's you.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's dependent on you for all resources and protection.
Right.
Now, the biological sexual possessiveness comes in where if you go out and fuck somebody else and produce kids outside of this house, now how many ways am I dividing up your resources and protection with your other offspring? Whereas every time that somebody else gets access to it or potentially gets access to your resource and your protection, that's potentially taking food and protection out of her house, out of her offspring. So that's
Mm-hmm.
where the biological wiring for sexual jealousy comes in. So I do get it on that point. It's
Okay.
not that we're
So
questioning
I'm a, so I'm
her.
a, I'm a, I'm a push back on that,
All
because
right.
normally from a biological standpoint, women would always gravitate towards the man with the most resources, or a man who is of resources, right? Niggas who didn't have resources wouldn't get no pussy. You wouldn't have no kids. You get your dick cut off by the dudes at the top. So biologically, a woman should be picking the man who she knows has resources, who can cover not just her, but other women as well.
Right.
From a
But that doesn't mean
biological
she's going to
standpoint.
enjoy sharing them. Like
Well,
she'll
no, jealous
eventually.
that only comes from us. A woman in her female nature, women share because they're nurturers. They not only want to take care of you, they want to take care of everybody. If even okay, even with your wife, right? And I'm not saying that you should have more sex with other women and such,
Here
but
we go.
when she took on your children that weren't biologically yours, she's like, bring them in. It's all good. We're a big family. I'm taking them in,
See,
and
but you
so
don't necessarily know that. You don't know if that was her first reaction. I'm sure she got there, but I'm sure, but at first, I mean, just as it's not biologically in our wiring to want to, provide for somebody else's offspring, women's in a woman's world, her offspring, her lineage comes first. She wants to produce more genomes that are spelled like her. So
bro.
any
Okay,
resources that's going to something other than that, I can understand why there would be a visceral
now
evolutionary reaction.
way more women marry men with kids than men that marry women with kids. All right,
I'm not saying they
we
don't marry them.
from a
I'm just saying that's
biological
not
standpoint,
necessarily the first reaction.
we are completely different as far as nurturing. Women love to nurture children, whether they're yours or not yours, or whoever. They love nurturing
And
children.
there's been some evil
That's why you
stepmother
see.
shit.
Well, that's why
There's
you
some
see
stepmothers
women.
that have killed some kids now.
Well, I mean,
That you
there's
don't have
step
to look hard for that
Yeah,
right, but you don't have to
but
look hard for the men that kill kids either, though. But
at
check this
all.
out. But check
yeah,
this out. women, that's why women are teachers more than men are, because women nurture children regardless of who the parent is. Women want to be that nurturer. For example, I mean,
See,
even
but
not
even
even
that's only recent.
no,
Even
that's
that's
only
only
recent.
recent.
That's only recent because women weren't outside the house. But
Okay, so
women have always
historically,
been
your
like
best
that.
teachers and professors were all men because that's
No,
who had the fucking
historically,
knowledge.
so historically, women used to use women would watch children in groups. So it wouldn't just be, oh, you're just taking care of your own child. Historically,
No, you're
women
talking
were the
about teachers.
nurturers.
I'm not talking
Women,
about
no,
babysitters.
I'm talking about historically.
Yeah, historically,
What
teachers.
historically women watched all the children in the village.
I'm not
that's how we
arguing
were
who been
from a
babysitters. That wasn't what I was
from a
debating.
biology, right? And now, I mean, basically nowadays teachers are babysitters for the most part, and that's who you see babysitting is women. So I would push that there's really no reason for women to have that sexual jealousy that men have, because they're not wired the same way we are, and they don't suffer the same consequences. If we're talking about biology, a woman's nature is to nurture. It's not to be
See, I
jealous.
believe in evolution. I'm a heavy believer in evolution. And so because of that, I can't go with that premise because evolution tells me that everything that's not useful gets discarded. It doesn't survive. Everything that stays with us, I don't care if it's religion, I don't care if it's the appendix, I don't care if it's tonsils. If it's no longer useful, we get rid of it. If it stays with us long enough, it's because it has utility. It's useful. So women's sexual jealousy comes with some biological utility. You can't tell me that it's just, you know, something above the lizard brain that they're just choosing to do. I don't rock with that.
Go ahead, Kay. I'll let you jump in. I'll
Yeah,
respond to him after that.
I was gonna say, yeah, I agree that women are more prone to want to help and want to be sharing and in a group, but I don't agree that like women are out here just like, oh, it's cool if you have another baby and like you have to share that resource. Like that's different than a stepchild. Like bringing in a child into your family together that's came from somewhere else. But when you leave the existing relationship, have a kid, and then you're dishing out your resources, whether that's time, money, protection,
Yeah,
all of that is now a portion of that is left at home. Whereas
because
with
she agreed
a
to the stepkids,
stepchild,
right,
that's
Kay?
brought into the home, right? So those resources are shared within your home. So like when it goes outside of that, I think it's different. Now, of course, I mean, society, time, everything will tell us that men are more apt to go out and cheat, and something like that is more common, and that women are more accepting of that than men. But I don't think that they're okay with it. I don't think they're like walking around like, all right, this is cool. They're hot like that, but they'll end up like homeboy's wife, like she doesn't have a whole lot to go on. Like she don't have, what's she gonna go do? Where's she gonna go?
Right. I think
You know
the
what I'm
point that
saying?
I'm making is it's not how women are today. I think women today have been programmed to be a certain way. I don't I and I think the programming that they're getting into being today is very self-destructive. So,
Before we move on,
so
though, homeboy in the UFC, right?
right.
One thing that I kind of had an issue with was he said that he gets to fuck who he wants because he pays for everything. And to me, there's a slight element of I don't want to say weak shit. I don't know what I would call it, but it's in a way as a man you're buying your freedom. You're saying, hey, this is what I want to do, and but I only get to do what I want to do if I pay your way through life. So if I stop paying your way through life, you'll cut my freedom spout off.
Hmm.
Which I don't know. What do y'all think about that?
Yeah, I like that because it's not just the pay. It's also just your presence. Like you got to be that dude whether you getting paid or not. Like you got to set that up just by who you are.
Yeah, that's what I
And
was
making,
thinking.
you know, good money helps that clearly. Like that's a big part of it, especially in today's society.
Yeah.
But it's got to be more than just I pay for everything. Because like I said, what happens if the money gets cut? Like you back
But
at
that's what
home,
he was
women?
leaning on. He was leaning on the fact that, hey, I make this money, I pay for this, she lives like a queen, I do this for her. So therefore I get to do what the fuck I want. Which I don't
Yeah.
know, KB, where you at with that?
Well, I think these young niggas nowadays, they watch too much Andrew Tate, right? And it's like they 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 hear shit, but they don't really understand what they're saying.
Right.
They just parrot shit, right? They're just parroting
Okay.
something that they heard, but if you really press them on the idea and the logic of it, there's no
It
logic
falls
because
down.
they haven't fundamentally thought it through. And so, as far as like, him saying, oh, well, it's because I make the big bucks, blah, 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 blah. Man, look, bro, I know niggas that don't make no money and pimp bitches. Like, got hella hoes. All right. So you don't need to have money to be able
Right.
to tell a broad, hey, I get to do this or I get to do that, or you get to cut my freedom off because I ain't got no bread. Nah, man. What
Yeah,
cats really
no,
don't
not
understand, yeah, is it's niggas out here knocking bitches off left and right and they got a cent in their pocket. All
Right.
right. And they calling
some
shots. They
some
calling,
some people would say that the hoes gravitate to them niggas.
hey, hey, some
Like,
people might say that, but that's
yeah.
what I'm saying. Like, it's dudes out there that are telling broads, hey, I'm gonna go do this, and then I'm gonna bring another broad over here, and we're gonna do that. And they walking around with shoestrings holding up their pants, and they pockets turned inside out like rabbit ears. So
Left up
like I
out of there
said,
with none, huh?
nah, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, these young cats, they listen to the shit, but they don't really have a solid foundation of
They ain't swirling
actually
it
how it,
around. They just
yeah,
heard
of
it and
actually
spat it
how
back
it
out.
works. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that was some shit he heard Andrew Tate say, and he said, you know what? I'm just finna, repeat this shit, rinse,
Hmm.
wash, and repeat,
Yeah,
and
that
that's what it was.
that kind of got me because I don't necessarily think that's a great message.
Yeah.
That I get to be who I am. I get to be me as long as I can do this for her. Like
Hmm.
I don't. That's a
Yeah.
little off to me. As opposed to this is who I am. This is what I do. I'd love to share it with you. If you can't accept that, you know,
Yeah.
good gracious, go with God.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
that's because that's because most of these dudes, and I'm gonna say it, and ladies, no offense,
nah,
but some of you niggas is bitches too. Some of
what they
you
look like,
niggas,
what they look like.
just like you,
All
yeah,
right,
no, and they feel like, oh well, I gotta have a bad bitch, I gotta have a 10, I gotta have a 9 or a 10, so I gotta get my money so I can tell these 9s and 10s what to do. And it's like, no, nigga, you sound like a bitch. You can
Yeah.
get a 3 or a 4 and tell her what to do all day long. And then when you get your money up, okay, yeah, maybe the quality goes up. Maybe you can start talking to 9s and 10s how you want. And maybe you can start doing this, once you get this or once you get that. But at the end of the day, it shouldn't really matter. Any broad that you get, any money that you get, you should be picking the broads who want to move how you want them to move, regardless of how much money you got.
Hmm.
So if
otherwise it just sounds like homeboy made some money and now he
mhm,
can afford to be the trick
Right.
he always really wanted to be.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
Because if he was real, he would have been doing that before the money,
oh
right?
yeah,
Like
oh yeah,
we didn't settle back in the day. Like
nah,
we have to.
I've never had $1 million, and I've acted absolutely insane with women
oh
before
yeah,
in my life. So,
oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah, but it's dudes. It's like I said, it's dudes that they and shout out to Andrew Tate. You know what I'm saying? I love a
oh
lot of
fuck
the shit
Andrew
that Andrew
Tate.
Tate says. I love a lot of the shit that he says.
You know, get the fuck
But
out of here with
but
that
at the
shit.
end of the day, a lot of these dudes are a lot of these dudes don't really have experience with women, and then they get a little bit of money, and they start listening to shit, and they get all confused because they don't really understand the basis of how a woman is supposed to act with a man. Like a
They don't
woman,
understand when Khan is getting ran on their ass either. You signed up for Hustlers University
hey, hey,
with all the Tate fans.
hey, I didn't, but I ain't mad at him. I ain't mad at
Yeah,
him
I
though.
know. I'm not mad at
You know,
nobody.
I ain't mad
Nobody
at
running
him.
con.
Yeah, I ain't mad at him, but I don't think Andrew Tate is unfathomable or no shit like that. I don't think he's a god or nothing like that. But I think a lot of the shit that he says is actual good shit if you really understand the basis of
He's
what he's
playing a
saying.
character. He's,
You know, hey, just because you're playing a character don't mean that you can't say some shit that's right. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, no,
Prime
broken
Like
time
clocks and
character
shit.
too.
you said
He says
what?
some shit that's right.
Who?
Who?
Prime time, Dion.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Prime
You know.
is right a lot more than Andrew Tate.
He's
Prime
Yeah,
what?
be
I
on the
mean,
money.
I don't listen to Prime that much, so I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. I
I
listen to
love
Prime.
Coach
I
Prime.
listen to
Go Buffs.
little clips every now and then.
When Coach Prime told them niggas, hey, guess what?
uh,
I inherited most of y'all, didn't recruit you, wouldn't have recruited you. You really just in the way. So practice is gonna be hard until I get some of y'all niggas to quit.
Transfer
I was
portal
a
was
Buffs
open.
fan. Huh?
yeah,
Transfer portal was open.
It's wide open.
yeah,
Wide
Jump off
open.
in there.
I got a
yeah.
couple of
Nah,
counselors over here to show you how you get on there, get your name in.
Log you in.
Got you some coaches that might want
Get you
you. I
right
mean,
up
we can
out
do
of
the
here.
whole thing.
yeah. Nah.
Yeah.
Listen, Coach Prime probably says a lot of good shit. I don't spend a whole lot of time watching Coach Prime, but like I
Me either,
said,
but
I ain't mad at Coach Prime. You know, and because Andrew Tate was on the internet, you know, hand over fist a couple months ago, I saw a lot more of the shit that he was saying. You know, Prime wasn't hand over fist on the internet like that, so I didn't really get to see
nah.
as much. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, these young cats, if they not used to really understanding how the dynamics between a man and a woman is supposed to be, then yeah, you'll have a bunch of cats who believe that shit, who believe, oh, I gotta get my money right just so that I can act how I want to act. When at the end of the day, like you know, like I said a couple shows ago, men shouldn't be turning down nothing but they motherfucking collar. You know, single men. You know, as a single man, you shouldn't be turning down nothing but your motherfucking collar.
So
You
so
know,
just so that I'm clear, anybody that wants it gets it, you say, huh?
hey, as a young man,
Oh,
as a
now
young
it's a
single
young man.
man, as a young
Oh,
single
okay.
man. Well, look, you know, once you get up into your 30s and 40s, you know, you might want to be a little bit more selective just
You
because hey,
got
you ain't
to.
you probably got a little bit more money under your pocket and you can you know you can attract a different caliber of women, but B, even if you don't, your back and your hips and your shoulders
Your
just
right
ain't what they
knee is
was. Yeah.
clicking. That
So
knee
you need to
goddamn.
you need to save that chi and that energy for, you know, for some of the more quality types of
For the
punana, you
grade
know
A
what I'm saying?
sausage, huh?
Yeah, you know. But as a young man, oh, nigga, you got all the virility in the world. You better be out there doing what you do. Stop playing.
Yeah.
Stop acting like a little girl.
Audio Jungle. Audio.